All right, welcome back to another episode of Inboxing. And today we have a really interesting guest. This guy the guest is Dmitry Kudrenko. I think I say that right. And anyway, he's got an interesting company. He's got a long history in email. He's been doing email for a long time. He's got an interesting product also, which most people are more familiar with in the email marketing space. And that's Scrapo. We'll talk about Scrapo. We'll talk about email marketing. We've got lot to cover. So without any further ado, please welcome Dmitry Kudrenko. Welcome, Dmitry.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's pleasure to be in a good company of you and your guests. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
For sure. It's great to have you on. Without any further ado, let's just jump right into things. So you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in email marketing.
It's a great question. You are usually asking all your guests. And you know what I just noticed, and maybe you noticed as well, that nobody really wanted to be in email from the childhood, from the student. So it's not like some good place to be normally people dream to be a doctor. So I don't know, teachers, engineers, travelers, but never email marketers. And usually this way very different, and it's always a long story, but I will try to keep it short. So I think more than 20 years ago, I thought that my call in this world to do a coding, to be a programmer, and all I do all my entire life, I just did applied mathematics degree and then post-graduation, and together with my partners, we created a company for doing the code, for programming. It was outsourced software development company. And we mostly worked with big enterprise, long-term products in different areas. And we got some experience. And about 10 years ago, we decided that we knew everything about creating products. And we decided to create one. And as usual, first two attempts were failed. And at least we created a marketing automation platform. We decided to do this. We called it Sputnik. And it was a time when I became an entrepreneur. So I was a programmer and I became an entrepreneur and understood that world is much, much more complicated than just providing a good code. And after our first release, we realized and was very surprised that nobody needs our product. Because of that time, about 10 years ago, people wanted to send spam, just bulk and plus strategy. And we wanted to do real marketing automation and some clever stuff. Nobody needs it. And to make it like a popular, just to start going forward, I started to speak from conferences, visit all niche conferences around the world. And it was time when people began to think about me as a marketer. So I was a programmer, then entrepreneur, then went into email as a marketer. Since this, we created several products in the niche. First is a big mature product, is Sputnik, is CDP, customer data platform. And then we created several, like a small but very valuable products, Scrapo, email design platform. And now we're creating Claspo, it's a lead generation platform. And also working on some other products. So, long story, as I told, and maybe I will share with you some funny stories from this long way, but later.
Right. Yeah. So when I wonder, I bet today, kids in college learning marketing probably take a course in email marketing. But definitely, I think we're close to the same age. Might be a little bit older, but I've been working for 30 years, but 20. No one dreamed about being an email marketer. But it became a job.
Strange, but everybody who start to work with email, who love it, they love it for a long time and stay with email for years and years.
For sure.
magic.
All right. So what did you see in the industry that got you to say, "Oh, let's build an email marketing platform," eSputnik?
Yeah. So it was a strange time. So first, we saw the big challenge. So a lot of challenges from technical point of view because of a lot of data, a lot of unstructured data that we have to use to communicate with the customer. It was a product challenge because of its complicated, big, high-performance product. It was a marketing challenge, and we like challenges. So it was a good idea to start product that we understand that can be scaled and also can have a lot of pivots. Everybody, every 5 years, people say that email have to die. But when we speak about the platforms and when we speak about the communication, it's not necessarily it's email or other channels. Yes, email is most mutual. It has very advanced analytics. It's very simple. It's very popular. It's never going to die. But it doesn't matter which channel we have to use to communicate the same principles, the same personalization, and all other things. So we decided that it's a good thing to start. And it was a quite big journey. We started from maybe it's better if I will share with you how our positioning transformed there. So we started as ESP, email service provider. And it's so easy. You just need to create an email and send it to your group, something, and provide analytics. Very simple. But when you do this, you have to care about the deliverability, more advanced analytics, more advanced segmentation, a lot of things. And when we started to do this, we changed our focus from channel, when we send email, analytics per email, to customer, when customer-centric approach became more important, and we started to automate some processes, doing some campaigns. And when we did some campaign optimization, we became marketing automation platform. And marketing automation platform when just marketers starting to do programming. It's one of the biggest maybe problem because of marketer when they do automation. Have to communicate with developers, with admins, with technical guys. But marketers is very creative and very clever, but don't like, from my experience, don't like technology. And we decided to build a platform when marketers don't need to communicate with engineers. They just can do programming using drag and drop things. And we became marketing automation platform. Understood that email is not only a thing to communicate, and we added more channels. Text messages, web push, mobile push, Viber, WhatsApp, a lot of different channels. And since we have a lot of channels, we did a lot of communication with different data sources, with CRMs, with some BigQueries, Postgres. That again, I'm programmer. A lot of technical stuff, and we realized that we are not just marketing automation because of we have a data, gather them, doing profile unification, just understanding that this is from offline store, this from email, this from his activity on mobile, this from website, and combine for one customer, doing a segmentation and activation, which means that we are customer data platform. And soon we realized that it's not a final point where we would like to be. We want to be something, I call it like a goal-driven CDP. Just 2 minutes, I will try to explain in analogy of vehicles. I'm a very big fan of Elon Musk, of Tesla, and all the technology he does. And if you would speak about the ESP, it's just very simple, like a scooter. It's very simple vehicle. Marketing automation, it's like a tool. You can create any kind of vehicle, but only you will understand how it works. Only you can repair and support. But customer data platform is a real car, good car. You can drive any place you want, but you always have to manage it. You always have to switch the gears, just driving it, caring about whole situation on road. Keep attention on the process, not on the result. And Elon Musk created a new era of anonymous driving. Yeah, when you have just defined the goal, and car is driving themselves. So I want to create the system that does the same. You have to define the goal and don't need to care about all the stuff around the road and I don't know, conditions. So it's place where AI, machine learning, and routine automation have to start work. So it's again big challenge. I like challenges.
Right, for sure. But I'm saying like going on that idea, like like what data points is the CDP sitting on that could look at and say like, okay, we're gonna make a welcome series out of this. Like what can you be doing? Yeah, I'm just trying to understand this. I mean, you're going to this thing, or building an autonomous, email marketing platform. Like, how does that work?
Yeah,
let's just hear a little bit more about it. This is exciting stuff.
Makes sense. But marketers always have to care about the messages, about the message to audience. But the time when the message have to be sent, the variant of this message, and the channel, and the volume, and the frequency, and a lot of things, and the context can be managed by AI because of its routine. And we always have to keep in your mind how open rates are changing on each domain, what is reputation about your IP. It's a technical metrics. But also, if you would like to improve, retention or conversion or engagement or doesn't matter, reactivation, it's not think of one campaign. It's a lot of campaigns. And people very often optimizing campaigns is not optimizing customer journey. It's just part of the work. And I want marketers to think in a more high level and low level. We can live for AI. So, but it's just how I think it should be.
Okay. I think definitely like AI and can already be doing so much more. Like you talk about like building the audience, like for emails, or even just reminding you like, oh, today would be a really good day to send an email. Or like, your customers haven't heard from you for a while. Like already like Facebook is doing stuff like this, like also, LinkedIn, they're all like, oh, you should be posting today, like
not always successfully. Not always successfully, yes. But we don't need to delegate to AI from the very first day. We need to go just first get the right signals to act, and then we can delegate something. And everybody speak about AI, but there are not a lot of success stories about AI implementation in marketing, especially in direct marketing. And there are a lot of reasons for this. Because of people want to achieve the final result first day. It should be step by step.
That takes time for sure. I remember even when I had on here Ross, I forget his full name always.
Elliot Ross. No,
not Elliot Ross. His first name is Ross. Last name is like Paquette, but there's a third name in there somewhere. Okay. Yeah, he's the CEO of MarrowPost. But he was talking then about how like you could have an A/B test in your automations, you're optimizing, and you forgot about it, and it's running forever. And as the marketer, I could say I've never seen that, but I believe it has happened to people. So just like things like that, just reminder, your A/B test is running for 30 days. Take a look at the result, or even just automatically like sending an email, with a report, or automating that or building that into the tool. That would be very, functional, great stuff. I've never actually seen like an automation builder that will send you a report, you could build in after this amount of time, like send me a report about that thing.
Yeah. And why you have to be sent a report if this report is not actionable? If the report is actionable, the system can do an action or suggest you several variants of it.
Suggesting it, right, for sure. I mean, there's definitely a lot that can be done to make the ESP, much more, or CDP in this case, just much more proactive about the marketing instead of just
Exactly.
being a tool.
Yeah, it's what I told you. A lot of challenges. A
For
lot of
sure.
challenges.
For sure. All right. So, I mean, you did this already a little bit. We discussed quite. Do you want to repeat this question? Do you want to add anything else about the history and development of Sputnik, or should we, move on to the next
I
question?
think there were a lot. I just want to mention one thing.
Yeah,
That
sure.
how Sputnik became a resource that we build another products around it. And one of them was one day we decided to update our editor. It was email editor. It was a third time we decided to update an editor because of we already have a lot of experience. Thousands of emails were created in a Sputnik, and we understood that if we do another update, nobody would be happy because of they have to understand how to work with another tool. This tool maybe would not be better than previous from the very first day. So they have to do some additional work to migrate the email they have to the new editor. And we decided to start editor as a separate product and give just receive a feedback from audience who is not familiar with the Sputnik, and we even didn't want to mention the Sputnik. And we started it about 5 years ago in February. And now it's just not just editor, it's a platform for creating emails. We have more than 500,000 users, and it's working completely independently. Another team, another structure, financial structure, office, everything is different. And we started to do things differently. We started to, so we decided that our value in a Scrapo will be simple, intuitive, but flexible. Because of what we see on the market, that it's really hard to create some custom email. So you can do what your tool allows you to do, but if you want to do something different, email marketers using email, I don't know, Sublime, or using any just text editor. But because of nobody would say that if you have drag and drop, you have a lot of restriction. We decided to create drag and drop without restriction. And from Sputnik time, we had another like a vision. We wanted to just make marketing simple. As I mentioned, without programmers, without understanding technology. You don't need to be very technical skilled to create dynamic email using AMP. Because of AMP, I saw you had several podcasts about the AMP. It sounds great, but why it's not so popular? Because of its first hard to create two versions of your email, more work. It has to be supported with your sender, but mostly it's not. Supported for sending and to analyze the difference between HTML and AMP version. And also it has to be supported with email clients. Huge changes in all ecosystem. So you have to be technical. And we trying to create a product that allows to create dynamic email without understanding technical things. We create different way for creating emails, not just drag and drop in blocks, but drag and drop in modules. When you can create your module, like a product card, a blog post, or something. And we do a lot of very new for industry changes in the editor. By the way, I was really, you're not asking, but just stop me if you feel that I'm going forward. When we did the release, we realized very soon, just for fun, I added export into Gmail. We created the tool for marketers, but who needs to export HTML into Gmail. Nobody, because of you don't do marketing campaigns from Gmail. I just said it because of Gmail is a big name. And I wanted in our integration have a big names, and I had only two really, to the HTML, to MailChimp, and to Gmail. And we found that we have huge number of exports into Gmail. Why? How it works? Why people need to export? Because there is no tool to create good-looking email with a signature, with, I don't know, with the pictures in Gmail. It works. And then, okay, if it works with Gmail, let's do, just for fun, export into Outlook. There is no way to export to Outlook at all. You can export to OFT file, and there are no tools. I just don't know them. Who creates a good-looking OFT? And what we did, and we got thousands of users who do it in a regular base, because of Outlook doesn't support editor for emails. And so, okay, it's completely different audience. It's for business. It's not for marketers. It's for B2B. But in the same time, we saw a lot of export into MailChimp, and it a lot of other systems. And we started to add more and more integration. We have more than 50 different integrations, I think, with all system, popular system in the world. And we constantly adding new and new. And we see huge number of export to all the system. I thought, okay, why people don't export into, I don't know, MailChimp? Because of MailChimp have advanced editor, and they constantly work on it. And why people do export to all the system? And it's an answer for your initial question about the ESP, how hard to create an ESP. Because of when you do ESP, you have to focus on everything in the world, and it never stops. And you just have to keep editor as good as possible. But when we started work constantly, 5 years, only on email editing, on the process for email designers and marketers, it became the best in the world. Which now we embedding into other systems, other ESPs, as a white label, as a plugin, which is completely new and became like a reason for our new vision. We just want to be a standard of email creation in the world. Later, I will describe something. Think if it's because if you would not stop me, I can speak forever about.
We'll jump. You know. We're gonna get into Scrapo. I mean, it's like, I skipped a question, but it's right here. Scrapo is another product of yours that helps you people build emails. So what inspired you to build it, and then what can we expect to see from Scrapo moving forward?
Yeah, excuse me. It's what I already started to answer.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a change. I had no really ambition about the Striper. I just wanted to create the tool that have to be used in a Sputnik. And that's all. And I wanted to create the team that dedicated, that focusing every time, forever, not for 1 year, forever, only for email design. And I wanted to create a product that is just cash positive. I just don't want to. I want to build the team, and I want to focus on something very big, like a goal-driven thing. And soon I realized that there are so many things that unimplemented. There are so many things why marketers struggles with email creation. As I mentioned, there is no standard. A lot of email clients, a lot of things like. Collaboration between email creation, like simultaneously editing when you have to edit the same email with several developers, like permission management, like translation management. How big pain for a lot of companies to support multi-languageal email. It's so wild process. You create a text in a Google Doc, then send to native from different countries, then grab all together, build a design, create copy and paste into several versions, do segmentation, hard to analyze. So almost impossible to work. And for example, now, by the way, it's a new thing that was released last, or maybe this, last week. It's supporting of automatic translation of email. Now
Oh,
we're
wow.
using Google Doc, we're preparing several versions, we synchronize them. And another thing, again, so I just want to let you know how big gap from the ideal editor and what we have at the moment on the market. And only the reason we are
Huge.
not huge.
Well, it's
And
5 years.
don't.
It's at 5 years in development only, just working on Scrapo, right?
Yeah, 5 years, and I understand that our roadmap for next 3-4 years is very tough. I just found my post on Facebook that I did 5 years ago when I announced that we plan to create editor, and there were several things that we have to add first thing into the new editor, and 60% we even didn't start. From the very first day in 5 years. So a lot of things have to be done there. And again, it's a challenge. And now most of my work, I'm happy that we have a big team, and I can delegate the thing for marketing automation for my partners. And I'm focusing mostly on the Stripe at the moment.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, we can go deeper into Stripe, but just to tell a little story, my own personal story. But I once built a welcome series for a client on Mailchimp. That was her client. So I built the thing on Mailchimp, and then she's like, "Well, how do I trigger it?" I'm like, "Well, if people click the link, they'll get they'll get the email." She's like, "No, I get it. I want to send it from my email." So what do? We found a tool that let you import the HTML into Gmail, and then she had it and save it as a template or something. And then she was actually, instead of it being in Mailchimp, she was actually, when she got a notification somebody's interested in her product, she'd send an email, the same email I designed directly from her Gmail. So I know exactly what you're talking about. That people, because people don't even realize you could send an email, an HTML email from Gmail. I mean, It was a big surprise to me. When I found there's a tool that does it, I was like, okay, great. But
you will be surprised even more. I want to share another story. We added a lot of different exports. We can export into image and we can export into PDF. And when we added export into PDF, we realized that from the very first day after release, we have thousands, 10,000s of exports to PDF. Why? It's question to you. I know that you're interviewing me, but it's question to you.
Oh, why people? Asking me why? You want me to tell you why people are exporting in PDFs?
Yes, they create an email.
I worked at a company where they saved every email as a PDF, and they put it in a vault. Then one of these, I forget the name of the program they would use, but they wanted to have a record of every email they ever sent in case they got in trouble about it. They wanted to have it as a record in a filing cabinet, a virtual filing cabinet.
Was strange for me. And another thing that was surprised that a lot of people doing it to approve it into Adobe. So just they do negotiations, some collaboration into Adobe, and then returning back into the system and doing. So just need to observe what people do.
And, right. Yeah, for sure. I'm a huge Scrapo fan. I wouldn't have contacted you if I didn't care about Scrapo. And Scrapo definitely is. It's a fantastic tool, and I can tell you, as a in my experience as a developer of email, being able to use a drag and drop editor, and then you see something you don't like, you can go into the code, and the system doesn't care, and you can just make your changes straight there. It's fantastic.
Thank you very much. And one of the most important things, we also added ability to add any your custom HTML and supporting drag and drop, even if you have your custom HTML. And when you create your custom HTML, save it into a module and reuse it. Interesting thing. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, just gears are turning in my head. Mail clients that I'm working with, where the development is a pain. So yeah, being able to do it in Scrapo, that definitely I'll send them an affiliate link. Tell them to give it a shot.
Another strange thing we just found. A lot
Yeah.
of people doing mass updating of the emails, like triggers. For example, Christmas. Now, they decided to add some snow or hat on a logo or something, and they have to update 60 triggers in the system. 60 triggers, and even for one email, if you want just to update a logo and background, you have to spend, open, update, test, 2 minutes for one email. When you have 60 emails, you have to update 60 emails. It's huge amount of work. What we just added, we added synchronized modules. You have a module here. You can update the module and say, update all emails that uses this module. So if you would only touch it, there are so many things uncovered in email design. So we have a lot of things to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like, Scrapo could have like a manual, it's like a thick manual, because I feel like I'm just scratching the surface, but there's a lot there, and there's a lot you can do. And and the way I see you're thinking, it's going to keep going. And that's really exciting for developers and the marketers, most people aren't tech savvy and aren't great at HTML and CSS and all these things. So
exactly.
So it's
I don't want to do like a excuse me, I don't want to do like a promotion here or something, but another, like you mentioned, like freelancers or email coders, what we just found, how they sell the result of their work. They just sell HTML. But HTML is, it costs just HTML. And we decided just to create a document for the result. We added ability to export guideline. So you create an HTML, you save something in the modules, but we know all styles, all fonts, all margin, paddings, backgrounds, everything. And we create a big PDF with guideline, with HTML, with reference to a module. And it's like a 30 pages document that supports HTML. And they can sell it easier. So, okay.
Wow.
There's
it's a lot there,
around
and
creation.
it's definitely exciting. So are you still active at Sputnik? Or is that part of what you're doing right now? Or
yeah, but my responsibility there are mostly vision, innovation, and some kind of high-level prioritization, because we have very strong team here, and I just because of to create a great edit, I don't know, we have to know and feel the whole industry. The same for whole industry. So what we do, we're visiting all the conferences around the world, trying to get the data from inspiration and everything, and put back into a product. So at the moment, I don't do operational work on Sputnik. My partners do this, but I still responsible for vision and for innovation.
Okay, great. All right, so you have a long journey, a lot of email knowledge. So if you give us like 5 key things to worry about when you're building an email marketing program. Yeah, like 5 top tips.
Let
Dmitry.
me
straight from the guy who's got all the knowledge coming in and sees all the crap.
I will try to be.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will try to be very high level. So we can say the tips for, I don't know, for hundreds of items, but looking outside of box, I think one of the biggest problems for marketers who start is to be trying to be perfect, trying to be very good. And for example, they're starting to do welcome series, not series, just welcome email. They have to update with a series with 10 emails, or I don't know, with a lot of conditions inside and focusing on it. I think it's one of the biggest mistakes. First thing I would suggest to do.
Looks like Dmitry froze. He's back.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, you froze for about 5 seconds, but now you're back.
Excuse me, maybe internet connection. So I suggested to focus. A key metric for business who only start to implement the strategy is to time to implement the list from best practices. I don't know, like email marketing rules from Chad Wyatt or something. You have a checklist for your industry. You have about 40 items you have to do, like a welcome, onboarding, opt-in, regular email. If you e-commerce, abundant carts, abundant views, reactivation, wish lists, thank you for your purchase. So all the things. And when you do this, you're focusing, you're just organizing your infrastructure, you're organizing your technical things, and you're starting to gather real data. But when you do this, you don't need to focus again on numbers for, I don't know, revenue or something. You have to focus on time you spend supporting this infrastructure. And when you just save a time automating some things, certainly you always have to keep your eyes on deliverability, on all this important stuff, your reputation. And when you save a time, still your marketing is only starts. So you can spend your attention not into just technical things, just create an email using best practice. And you have to have a header, a menu, you have to have a call to action, good design that is similar with your brand. I don't know, all the stuff. It's just best practices. When you save a time, start to think about checking hypotheses. And every your email have to prove any idea. You have to learn from your audience, and your marketing starts here. And if you would look to the very first stage of a business, I would say it's do what your business requires for you to do. Then you have to learn, build, measure, learn. I say it like a lean marketing. And then when you learn something, you need to change your business, not emails. Most money you can have from implementing your marketing strategy is on this level of best practices, not of the level when you did something amazing. I saw so many cases when you change one word in a button and conversion dramatically improved. But I saw it only in cases. I never saw it in real life. In real life, I know that when you do your homework, you have the most money you can have from a channel. Then you do your experiment and you can become worse and a little bit better. But you always have to support your work and learn from your audience. When you learn from your audience, you can use this knowledge to change your business or processes. And it's a real marketing strategy. And so my tip would be concentrate on the right thing at the right moment of time. First, on a best practices implementation, then for saving time, then for build, measure, learn cycle, constantly improvement, and so on, and then change the business. One high-level tip. Another tip, I would say, it could be change your mentality from thinking about tactic metrics like open rate, click rate, and blah, 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 into customer and goal-driven metrics. You really want to change in your business. When you want to optimize your customer flow from the very first date you have the data from him into loyal customer. So focus on most important thing. Don't be stuck with tactic. Tactic never bring you into success. It just my high-level tips.
There's some really good ones there, for sure. And you kind of, touched on this. I mean, I feel like the first one you mentioned already is that people often, they want to get it perfect the first time they set up their welcome series, and it takes them 6 months to get the welcome series up and running. So yeah, but any other, like big mistakes you see people making?
Yeah, mistakes is a most interesting thing because of people speak about mistakes. And they're all important, but very easy to fix mistakes. You can read in all the articles around the world. It's like lack of personalization or ignoring deliverability principles, all this DKM, DMARC, SPF, reputation, and so on. Sending the same email to all your subscribers, or I don't know. Everybody's knows it. But again, as I said about the high-level things, the biggest mistake is to think about email as a channel to sell, because of it's a great opportunity. Email is a great opportunity to build a long-term relationship with the customer. So we have to think about the relation and build it in a way just to give a powerful marketer to communicate with the customer, and it has to bring him to recommend you viral marketing, or maybe stay with you for a long time, spend the money for a long time. What I see that most of emailers just, especially last 2 months, starting from the Black Friday, sell to everybody, and it hurts. It's good because of you can have money from the high season, but what you receive at the end, how many active subscribers, loyal subscribers, loyal buyers you have. I think it's much more important to think strategically here. And I would put it in the top of mistake.
For sure. It's a really good one. Because I mean that's what we talk about a lot on, especially on inboxing, is the way you can develop relationships through newsletters, through funny things you could send. There's a lot you could be sending to just deepen that connection with your customer.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you really brought that up, because it's really so important.
By the way, if you would look into when people hire a marketer, they always set for his KPI. So, okay, we need you to build a good relation, increase lifetime value, or ROI from a channel, something big. But they measure them in a real time every month with open rates and click rates, because of how they can measure their improved lifetime value. They have to wait for a long time to have real numbers. And it's so easier to measure open rate, especially now when open rate is not stable anymore with Apple Mail privacy policy, with all this strange restriction, with not strange, but just with third-party cookies, with all the tracking ability, with all the stuff, with attribution. And it leads to the big war between different departments in marketing structure of a company, who impact into sales, attribution channels. Is it PPC, or it's direct marketing, or it's SEO? It's really hard to understand, especially if additional real omni-channel with offline advertisement. So again, challenges, so many challenges.
Yeah, there are a lot of challenges for sure. All right, what are your proudest email achievements? When you say Scrapo, like when you say it's Sputnik, they've done a lot. So let's hear
it. Achievement. So it's hard to answer. Really, for me, I will answer very strange. The proudest thing for me is the feedback from our customers. It just because we have a lot of great feedback, love it. We also love negative feedback because of its opportunity to improve. But another thing that just drives me, I can't say that I'm proud of it. I'm proud, but it's my personal. That drives me that something we invented, something we created, changing the industry from our side being better. Especially, I think we did a lot of popular for AMP because of, I think we only editor in the world that's supporting AMP. Sputnik is the only ESP that not just supporting AMP. Everybody can create AMP HTML. I mean, we created an email, and in one email layout, you don't need to create both versions. You can, in one email version, create, add carousel, or some gamification element or something inside an email, and mark it that, okay, it have to be shown only in AMP version, and we automatically generate both versions. So it's something nobody did before us. And also in Sputnik, we do analytics for AMP, for a lot of things. We did a lot of events together with Google, together with, I don't know, Spark Post. And now we will have event in Las Vegas next 12th of January. In Vegas, it would be how to use AMP for gamification. It would be a great workshop. So
is that MailCon?
Yes, MailCon. It will be in Caesar Palace. They was postponed the event for several times, and at least we will be there. So I can proud when something is changing in the world, when more companies start to use something new. Especially, I can mention very simple things that again I can proud. When we were a very small company in Sputnik, we added a very simple feature, hidden preheader. So it's hard to define it because of it's inside the code. Nobody see it, and you can update title and forgot about the hidden preheader when you copy email from previous one. And we added just input for
the preheader.
Yes, and we hide it in email. And one of our customers wrote an email to MailChimp. Let's see how system I use created a preheader. And they say, okay, thank you, and implemented the same in MailChimp. I was proud that we did some changes.
You're driving change.
Yeah. Yes, I'm driving. It's what driving changes. And when we started to build Scrapo, we just started to do something. We wasn't in time to create this hidden preheader, and we started to receive emails from our customers. Please look onto MailChimp. They have hidden preheaders there. Can you do the same? I like such things. Okay, so sure. I want to, as I mentioned, be create a standard of email creation. So we do in marketplace. We have thousands of templates on the site. And what I would love to create, when somebody wants to buy a template, they would like to buy it, just think about Scrapo. Think that they will have a guideline, that it can be exported into any system, that it supports they kind of personalization tokens or something, merge tags, all the stuff. So every step we do on a way for being a standard, I'm proud of, and it's driving me.
All right, fantastic. All right. So what's your vision? I mean, I think you talked about this with the Tesla, but where do you see, like, say, in 3 to 5 years, like, how much do you see the industry changing, or, specifically for Sputnik or Scrapo?
I can say for all of them. For Sputnik, it's easy. I already mentioned. I want in 3 years be much better to our goal to be goal-driven CDP. Goal-driven when a lot of routine work is automated, when marketers have valuable signals, what they can do to improve, where they have a potential of changing. For example, you have a lot of unauthenticated sessions. You can add web push, and probably you will have this number of money of active or something, or maybe improve conversion in cart, abandoned cart finishing. So goal-driven thing. And if I would speak about the Scrapo, again, as I mentioned, I would like to be a standard. My vision in 3 years to have a strong marketplace, to have not just editor, I told a platform where it's so easy to manage all the creativity banners and spelling mistakes and copywriting in your text, how we can improve it there when you do your email production. I just want to save a time for doing, again, any routine work there. So in 3 years, I think it would be much more mature system that will be simple, flexible, and intuitive. No, it's better to say simple, intuitive, but flexible, because of usually simple means not flexible at all.
Okay.
So it is.
All right. All right, and then we've come to the end of the show, really. So, yeah, if you have any final thoughts you want to share, it's your sign off.
It's interesting thing. I also wanted to mention when we spoke about mistakes and about the tips. I think one of the maybe top, even higher than I mentioned, is the role of email marketer in the business structure. If email marketer is responsible for communication with the customer, what could be more important? I mentioned that we have to first do very routine thing like a best practices, optimize, starting to test, and we understand when we learn something from audience and understand what have to be changed in the business. I don't know if you're selling some children things, it have to be eco, it have to be expensive, it have to be very developing, it have to be what is most important from your business to your customers. If you cannot change the business, if business don't listen to you, your work or work of marketers became boring because of they understand something but cannot change it. It's boring, and usually it drives to changing companies. It repeats and repeats and repeats. I think that business, that the role of email marketer, business have to realize, and email marketer have to realize that it's very powerful role and have to have additional permission for this. And again, as I mentioned, nobody wanted to be a marketer, but everybody who started to work with it, love it, and stay with it. And it's because of it, because of it's about communication. It's about the real values in the business and in the communication. So I wish all of us continue love what we do and change the world for better.
Amen. It's in Hebrew, amen. You know, the English version of that, and it's appropriate, especially about this time of year. So Merry Christmas to everyone celebrating.
Yes. And
Thank
especially
you, Dmitry, for coming on today. We definitely learned a lot. We talked a lot, and it was great. So I really appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to kick you out and say goodbye to everybody else. But stick around. I'll talk to you afterwards. Anyway, so that's our show for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And tune in next week. Our next guest, I believe, is in about a week. I'll post about it, but we have exciting guests actually from the Chubbies team. Team from behind the brand Chubbies will be on in about a week, I think. We've got Avi Goldman from useparcel.com, which is also an email editor, but not drag and drop. It's just for developers only. And then we also have a few. Valentin Radu, I think is his name, who's got a lot of email stuff going on. So anyway, tune in for that, and that's it. Have a great Merry Christmas to all those celebrating, and Happy New Year.